Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host Mike Lepre, here with my co-host Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
For this episode, we don't have a whole heck of a lot of news really at all this week for you, so we're going to give our overall look at the current playoff picture. And we unfortunately have to start off this episode with some sad news, as recently we lost two legends of the game. And our first piece of news is regarding those two men. Over the past week, we lost two greats of the game. On August 31st, Tom Seaver passed away peacefully in his sleep after a battle with dementia. And unfortunately, just about a week later, on September 6th, Lou Brock passed away. The reason for Lou Brock's death could be related to his cancer diagnosis 3 years ago, but the exact reason is still unknown. So we lose Tom Seaver at the age of 75 on August 31st, and then we lose Lou Brock at the age of 81, just a week later. Tom Seaver obviously being one of the great pitchers of all time, one of the great Mets of all time. Lou Brock being one of the great Cardinals of all time and one of the great base stealers of all time. One of the great hitters of all time, too. So, unfortunately, we have to obviously report that it's a huge loss to the game and its history. So we just want to extend our condolences to the families of both men and whoever is surviving them.
It's a shame that we lose both Tom Seaver and Lou Brock at relatively young ages. Tom Seaver 75, Lou Brock 81. They both battled their, diseases of their own, but two greats. Tom Seaver, arguably the best Met of all time. Terrific Tom terrific, however you want to go about it. And then Lou Brock, just aggressive base stealer, and really he just big part of the Cardinals all those years. And the way the Cardinals went about how they played. They ran the bases well, they played defense well, and he was a big part of that. Yeah. So it's a shame we lose them, but their franchises, they'll do something, some sort of moment of silence, and they'll do something special for them. The Hall of Fame obviously always puts flowers by the plaques of Hall of Famers who passed away, so they'll be remembered, and it's just a shame. They're two of the greatest players.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, and they'll always be remembered in baseball. It's not like just them dying is losing their legacy. Their legacy will always be there. So let's move on here to a little bit more optimistic news, a little bit happier news. Number 2 we have on the docket is that there's been no serious outbreaks of COVID-19 in baseball, and actually quite a few weeks now. While there have been some focused, small little cases here and there, like the Astros camp being shut down and some other players here and there getting diagnosed, there hasn't been any huge outbreak, which is really good for all baseball and really all sports. The threat of COVID, obviously, though, is still very real, and MLB seems to be taking it seriously. So it's just always good news when we can make reports like this, rather than it seemed like in the beginning we were making reports every week that there was another serious outbreak. So happy to report that. Hopefully that doesn't jinx anything here. And hopefully we can just kind of stay the course and get through all this without anyone getting seriously sick or unfortunately worse. So yeah, that's at least a little good news as opposed to the first piece of news.
Sure.
So I just wanted to report on those two things real quick before we get really into the meat of what we wanted to talk about this episode, and that's the current playoff picture for the MLB. Obviously, this year being a little different. You got 16 teams in the playoffs, all with unique seeding, and the top two teams in each division make the playoffs, as well as two wild cards. And I believe the top teams get to pick who they want to play, which is obviously unique as well. We thought it important, with the kind of coming down to the stretch, coming down to the wire. There's a lot of weird teams in the playoffs, kind of teams that definitely some teams here that I didn't expect to be in the seeding that they are in. So why don't we let's start with the AL. I think would make a lot of sense because we're a little bit more. I'd say we as Yankee fans, I guess, a little more familiar with the AL. We see more of the teams on a regular basis. So let me break down the top 8 teams in order of seeding from 1 to 8, and we'll go from there. So the number 1 seed in the AL is the Rays, second best team in baseball. Obviously makes sense. Number 2 is the White Sox. They are currently leading the AL Central. Number 3 is the A's, currently leading the AL West. Behind them at number 4 is the Indians. Number 5 is the Blue Jays. Number 6 is the Astros. And the 2 wild cards in order are number 7, the Twins, and number 8, the Yankees, at the lowest seed. if the season were to end right now and it just went by seeding, the current playoff games would be, the series would be Rays versus Yankees, Indians versus Blue Jays, White Sox versus Twins, and A's versus Astros. So, I've been talking for a little bit here, so why don't I just kick it over to you and you give your first impressions on where we're at right now.
Yeah. Yeah, a few of those teams really seem dangerous in the AL. You got a team like the Rays who are really playing all-around baseball, and they're missing a few guys yet. I think Nick Anderson was hurt for a little while. They had a few injuries there and a few bumps on the road, but they're playing pretty well.
Yeah.
A couple guys real hot hitting-wise. Glasnow's been pitching unbelievable. They're going to be a tough team. You got this AL Central, you got a couple good teams there.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what they're really going to do, what they can do.
Yeah.
Because all three teams there, the White Sox, Twins, and the Indians, they've been hot. They already had multiple hot and cold streaks. I mean, the Twins were like 1-9 at one point. In like last 10 games played or whatever. The White Sox started off pitching wise really bad.
Yeah.
And the Indians kind of muddled around a little while, but they hot and cold, so you don't really know what you're going to get out of those teams. But they have good talent.
Yeah.
I think the White Sox have the best talent out there. The White Sox and maybe the Twins. I just don't see the Twins with pitching.
Yeah.
But the White Sox overall, I think they have some of the best talent. So if
I
they
agree.
get hot there towards the end, they could really make a run to the end. To the end of the playoffs. The A's, I really think the A's are the best team in the AL, and arguably maybe the second best team in all of baseball.
I would probably have to agree. Yeah.
I mean, you can go look at some of their guys' stats. Nobody really has great stats over there, but they're winning. So if you think their stats start picking up, they got to keep winning even more.
Yeah. Sure.
So, and they're just a scrappy team. They don't care where they play. They don't care who you are. They're going to play their game, and they're going to win. They're going to beat you.
Yeah.
So, and they're never out of it. Ask Giants. And walk-off grand slams, game-tying grand slams, and they're really good. They're a really good team.
They sure are.
The Astros, you don't know what you're going to get. They still have a lot of talent, but you just don't know what you're going to get over there. They have a bunch of injuries, and a bunch of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But they do have veterans. They all have been there before. They do have a chip on their shoulder. They got Dusty. So we'll see what they could do. They have been playing a lot better, more recently.
Yeah, can't count them out.
Blue Jays, a young team. You don't know what you're getting out of them. They're a young team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're going to push nothing too far right now this year, maybe next year. But good for them, And then you got the lonely Yankees, who have been the worst team in baseball, with a bunch of injuries and bad decisions up and down the organization. So they got a lot of questions to answer. But as they started the year, they could be the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
So if you're the Rays and you do get to choose a team, I don't know if you choose the Yankees. You got to see where they're at in 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
They're at where they're at right now. You choose them.
Oh yeah.
But if they're healthy, you don't choose them. We'll see how that goes. So, but the AL's it's a weird spot because you do have a couple real good teams, and you have one team, two teams who are arguably the best two teams in the AL. They're not really doing that well. The Astros, who are like I said, are playing better, and then the Yankees are playing terrible.
Yeah.
Those two teams are two of the best teams.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on paper for sure.
So you don't really know the AL's kind of mixed up right now. But there is a lot of talent there. So you're going to get a good team gets to the end here. I think the A's are a team to watch, really.
Yeah, those the top 3 seed teams, Rays, White Sox, and A's, leading their divisions, are definitely teams to watch. It's weird. It just shows that it's the 60-game season, how weird the season is. You got the Blue Jays, the 5 seed, Astros below them, and the Yankees really in the basement of the playoffs. It's so weird.
Yeah. The only thing, it kind of makes a little bit of sense that those are the teams that are in the hunt, though.
Yeah.
We kind of predicted that. We kind of said, the Blue Jays could be hanging around. All these teams are going to be in the hunt. There's not that one team that's like, you get the Orioles and Detroit chasing. They're 2 teams out. See, one of those teams are in the playoffs. You're going, see, that's a surprise team. These teams here, you kind of expect them to at least be in the hunt, all of them. The seeding order might be a little off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But these teams are all expected to kind of be there in the hunt. So the AL kind of makes a little bit of sense. But you do have Detroit and the Orioles chasing, so that'd be crazy to see one of those teams make it.
Yeah.
And it'd be good for the franchises and the fan bases. But,
Yeah.
The AL kind of makes sense. The seeding's a little out of whack, but there's 3 weeks left. Some injuries. People are going to get back here knowing the playoffs are coming. So things are going to get changed up here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially, they believe the Yankees play the Blue Jays 10 more times.
Yeah, they got to play their whole season series,
So that could switch a lot. That could really knock one of those teams right out.
Yeah,
and bury one of them. Let's say you go 7-3. If you're the Yankees or the Blue Jays, you go 7-3 against them. Well, that puts you in a good spot and buries the other guy.
Yeah.
So there's some big games coming, and there's going to be, like I said, a lot of people coming back from injury, which are going to make a big impact. So the AL is going to get wild, I think, with the seeding.
Mm-hmm.
I think the teams the teams that are there, I think, are kind of going to be there. I think it's just the seeding is what we're looking at now.
I'm a little surprised the Yankees and Rays are 1-8. I would have thought, obviously, the Yankees were going to be number one, but I wouldn't think that either team would be top and bottom. I would think that they'd both kind of be thrown about like in the middle. Like neither of them would be the wild card team. It's the Blue Jays sitting in second. It's just, good for them. It's awesome, but
the Buffalo Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's weird, but that's cool. The Astros. I predicted in the beginning of the season that the A's were going to take that division just because the Astros are so demoralized. I didn't predict that Altuve would be batting like crap and they'd have a bunch of injuries, obviously. But I just thought that with everything going on with them, their mentality must be, their morale must be low. So I guess looking at it makes sense. Well, and they lost Verlander. That doesn't help. You lose your number one guy. The White Sox. I'm very excited to watch the White Sox in playoffs. Hopefully they're hot when they go into the playoffs because otherwise it's not going to go great for them because they have been hot and cold. As the 4 series that we got based on seeding, if it were to end today, the Rays, Yankees, I got to go with Rays, maybe even in a sweep. They may not even be close at this point because the Yankees are playing like crap. The Indians and Blue Jays, that's an interesting series, but I think the Indians pitching, would prevail in that series. Plus their hitting overall, I'd say, is probably better than the Blue Jays. Blue Jays got, Teoscar Hernandez, Gurriel, and...
Well, that's, with the Blue Jays, they get hot, they'll beat the Indians for sure.
That's
but
the thing.
They're like similar to the White Sox. When they're hot, they're really good. But they go through some real cold stretches, which really hurt them.
Yeah, if it ended today, I'd probably have to go with the Indians. It's a 3-game series. The first games, right? It's a 3-game series.
I believe it's a 3-game series. It's going to be most likely, if not already, passed on in a bubble stadium, and the best seed gets all 3 home games.
Oh, so. Yeah, so definitely the Rays would sweep the Yankees.
I'm almost positive they get all 3 home games. I'm almost positive that is the way it is.
Okay, I think you're right.
Which is a good reason why you want to be the higher seed.
Yeah. The next series, White Sox Twins. The Twins pitching just bothers me as a whole. Even coming into the season, their pitching bothered me. Their lineup is stupid, of course, and if they're hot, I don't think the White Sox have enough pitching to shut down that lineup. So the White Sox, they might have to out-hit them a little bit. But I think with the White Sox lineup and how they've been playing, I think they can do it.
Yeah, I think the White Sox win that series.
I think so too.
You got Luis Robert, who's unbelievable.
Mm.
Eloy Jimenez could smack the cover off the ball. Jose Abreu, we've seen him. He had like 7 home runs in like 3 days.
Yeah.
I think their Dallas Keuchel's hurt right now, but he was pitching pretty well there.
Yeah.
So they got some pieces. It's a 3-game series. So
yeah.
you can just find one pitcher. You get one, your best pitcher comes out there and wins you the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You could be able to piece together, the next 2.
Yeah.
Or next one. Really, you just got to find one more win.
Yeah, you got Giolito at the top is better probably than any Twins pitcher.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You got Giolito versus Barrios, and he hasn't been pitching that great.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're gonna,
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, who do the Twins have? Pineda.
Yeah.
Rich Hill, someone like that.
Yeah.
While the White Sox are throwing out there probably Dallas Keuchel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the younger guys they have, but I think the White Sox take it, and I think they have some with Luis Robert out in the outfield to cover. The whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then Jan Moncada, Tim Anderson's really, really good.
Yeah.
I just think they'll be better off. 3-game series, though, makes it tough. If it was a 5-7 game series, I think the White Sox definitely take it.
Mm.
I think at some point, you can't hit a whole series. But a 3-game series, I think the Twins might be able to out-hit them.
Yeah.
But I still think the White Sox would take that.
Yeah, I think so, too. And then the next series, A's, Astros. I take the A's, maybe even a sweep. Just 2 games and out. Really, just the Astros really just have Greinke going for them, so that might actually get them 1 game. But I just think the A's, it's that there's a familiarity there, but the A's are just, like you said, they don't care where they play. who's on the mound. Who they'll
They
find
hate the Astros.
Oh yeah.
Let's just get right down to it. They hate them.
Yeah, put Ramon Laureano out there, and we'll see what happens. You know.
Yeah. So they hate them. They really do.
Yeah.
And they have a chip on their shoulder that nobody else has.
Mm.
So the A's would come out there. I think they might send a message first pitch, kind of thing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like Syndergaard with the Royals, kind of up and, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm on the mound. You're on the you're on the plate. Let's go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised there. But I think the A's would take that. I think the A's would beat them. They would beat. If I know the A's, they'd beat them one game like 3-1, and then the next game they'll beat them like 10-9.
Yeah.
Walk off home run or something crazy.
Yeah. Walk off grand slam.
Yeah, that's wild pitch or something, because that's just the A's. They just find the weirdest ways to win, and that's just it.
Yeah, I think the A's or the White Sox would probably find their way to the World Series as it stands right now, how the teams are looking. You can't count out the Rays, but even though they're the best team, sometimes when I just look at the Rays, I'm like, I almost go, why? Why are they?
They just don't seem like they hit.
Yeah, they're just scrappy. They find ways to win, and their pitching's unbelievable, of course.
If you put the Rays versus the A's, you gave me that as a 7-game series to get to the World Series. What? Wow, what a mess.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
You'd have two similar teams, and it would be quite the show.
Yeah,
you get to see a little bit of all baseball.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of old school with some of the base running and moving guys over. New school with some of the power and the analytics. Bullpen pieces and openers and all this other crazy crap. That would be a really good series. But like I said, it's going to be hard to see because you got teams like the Yankees and the Astros who are going to get healthy, and they kind of feel like they're already in the playoffs, even though they're not. Mm-hmm. But their team kind of feels like that. Mm-hmm. So once this late season comes and they get a couple of guys back, they're going to be like, okay, now we got to play baseball, and then all of a sudden they win, 8 out of 9 games, and they're the hottest team in baseball going to the playoffs with all their talent back.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? By the time we talk next week, the seeding could be completely different, and we could be talking completely different right now. It's just there's still a lot of time, but
one thing. Let's hope them Orioles make the playoffs, so that Mike has to pushes for that tattoo.
The way it's looking right now, I could see them edging out the Yankees for that 8th. I don't want it.
And they go all the way to the World Series, and Mike gets a tattoo. And that's the best.
They beat the Rays in the first round. They go on. Them. Yeah, and they sweep them.
They sweep the whole playoffs. Chris Davis, MVP. It doesn't even play anymore.
Yeah, DJ Stewart and the fellows.
Yeah. Jose Iglesias comes in, bats like 600 in the playoffs. Yeah. And what's his name? Wojciechowski.
Yeah.
Throws like 6 shutouts. Pitches every day.
No.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yep. Here they come.
Hope there's Orioles players out there just like, you know what? We don't want Mike to get that tattoo. We'll lose.
They do. They do.
All right, let's go on to the NL.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of talking about them. All right. So the NL, I think is a little more exciting, personally. There's one series in particular here I just want to happen. So the seeding is in order. Number 1, Dodgers, best team in baseball. I think really all season they've been the best team. They haven't even slowed down. So number 1's Dodgers.
Well, playoffs are coming. So that'll put them in their place.
That's the only thing. Every year I'm like, boy, the Dodgers are good. They'll win the World Series, and they just flounder out at like the ALCS or the NLCS. It's like
NLDS last year.
I know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. They're just I don't know what it is with them. So number 1's Dodgers. Number 2's Braves. They're winning their respective division in the East. Cubs are number 3. They're winning their division in the Central. And behind them at 4 is the Padres. Then 5 is the Cardinals. 6 is the Phillies, and then the 2 wildcard teams are your Rockies at 7 and your Giants at 8. So this, based on seeding, the 4 series would be Dodgers-Giants, big rivalry there. The series that I want real bad is the Padres and the Cardinals. I would love that in a 7-game series. Screw the 3-game series. So Padres-Cardinals, Braves-Rockies, and Cubs-Phillies. All, in my opinion, pretty exciting series. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about your 8 NL teams? I mean, the Giants are a big surprise, and other than that, I mean, I guess the way the Padres have been playing, they're a little bit of a surprise. We knew they were going to be good. I wouldn't say I knew they were going to be this good. But other than that, I mean, it's about kind of what I expected out of the playoffs.
Yeah, there's a little bit of surprise out there. I think the Marlins are chasing. They're right there with a game or 2 out. And I don't think they're even 2 games out. I think they're like a game out.
Something like that, yeah.
Playoffs. I believe the Mets are still in the hunt out there. So you got a few teams there. Got a couple surprise teams, somewhat surprise teams like the Rockies and the Giants. But yeah, they have a couple exciting teams out there. Just because you get that feeling that the Dodgers have been good all year. So at some point they got to get cold. The Dodgers always mess up. They always mess up in the playoffs. So you always kind of feel like that the NL's kind of open, even though they have probably the best team regular season-wise every year. But it always seems open. So the Dodgers, and then if they had to play the Giants the first round, that's just a big rivalry. You could see the Giants doing it to the Dodgers because the Dodgers get knocked out by everybody.
So I actually have a correction here to make because the Marlins-Braves game finished and the Marlins won. So actually, this needs to change. The Marlins would be the 8th seed, believe it or not, over the Giants. So the Marlins
played the Dodgers first round. The Marlins beat them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, sweep them.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine?
So they'll sweep them. They will. Miguel Rojas 800 win this series. Done. I'll put it down right now. Marlins will sweep the Dodgers if they face the first round.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Kershaw will give like 7 runs first inning.
Come
Jesus
on.
Aguilar hit a bomb off him, and that'll be it.
Yeah, and just the other fellas that are out
Starlin
there.
Marte, he'll go crazy.
Yeah,
it'll be a mess. So yeah, if that's the case, you get the Dodgers and the Marlins. I think the Marlins beat them. I just think the Dodgers will always mess up, which is how they are.
Yeah.
They don't change. There's no one different out there that's going, oh, well, he's a playoff guy. They're all not playoff guys. Because none of them ever show up other than Justin Turner.
That's true.
Justin Turner's about the only one that always shows up in the playoffs.
It's true.
Give or take. There's a few guys who are okay out there, but he's the only one that's like, all right, he'll do his thing.
Yeah, you can really bank on him, yeah.
Kershaw, garbage. Kenley Jensen, we've seen him do his thing out there. So there's issues there. The rest of the bullpen, I mean, who?
Yeah.
They still don't find bullpen pieces,
I know, they
Walker
always...
Buehler, he pitched pretty well in the playoffs, but he gets wild in the playoffs. Gets a little nervous. That one game, I think he had like 8 walks or something crazy.
And plus, I mean, if he's really your only guy, it may not do you all that great,
Yeah. So, we've seen Bellinger in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, they're the best team in the regular season, but once the playoffs comes around, you just don't know.
I know, they got like the cloud hanging over their head, or, and I don't get it.
Yeah, so that second series, if there was Padres and Cardinals, I mean, that would be an exciting series. It really would be. You wish it would be a 7-game series.
I know. Oh my God.
Padres, young, exciting. A lot of young guys. It's just a really crazy team. A manager that doesn't really know what's going on. Let's be honest, the Padres manager. Some of the comments he's made and stuff, he's a little lost. I feel like, but a little bit of a new school team for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have the Cardinals, who are just like that. That machine. Every year they're in the playoffs. Every year they're good. Every year they're competitive. Every year there's Molina. Every year there's Wainwright.
Yep.
Every single year. A little bit more old school. Where it's just like they do the same stuff. They're very routine based. I think Cardinals win just because of their veterans. Wainwright's pitching really good. Molina's playing well. Goldschmidt, I mean, it's not going to stand out of the ball. And if he had to play the Padres again, we've seen how he did that in his career with the Diamondbacks, so
yeah,
he'd be fine here.
Yeah.
Colt Wong's playing well. Paul DeJong. Their outfielders haven't been really playing that great this year, but at some point they turn around. You got to think.
Yeah.
Carpenter hasn't been playing great for 2 years now, but I hope he turns around. They got some bullpen guys. Andrew Miller has been around, so they're a good team. The Padres are good too, but I think the Cardinals edge them with just veterans.
Yeah, just that experience factor.
Yeah. So, the other teams you got, you get the Braves. I mean, that's a good team, but they seem like they always mess up in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
But they got a really good team. They need a little bit of pitching help. Hopefully Hamels comes back for them. That would really be a big piece for them.
That would be big, yeah.
Marquez ended up opting back in. He's playing really well, so that's a big piece for them. Acuna came back. Ozzie Albies on the verge of coming back. So they're getting a couple injury guys back. They'll be a good team. It'll be hard to beat. The only thing that's going to, like I said, with them is 3-game series might hurt them.
Yeah.
Because of the pitching. If it's a 5-game series, even with some bad pitching with that lineup, they'll figure it out.
And they would have to, based on seeding, play the Rockies, who, their lineup.
And the Rockies, they came out of the season so hot. And then they were so cold. Now they're just 500.
Yeah.
So, you don't know what you're going to get at them, because they started the year, they pitched great.
Yeah.
And they were hitting. They got a great lineup. They're a team, if they make the playoffs, everyone always kind of talked about them trading people or Arenado, and now they make the playoffs to get a little excitement. They don't got to play in Colorado if it's a bubble city. If not, even if it's not a bubble city, they go to Atlanta,
Yeah.
play them there. So they don't got to worry about Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a tough series for them. Like I said, 3 games.
That's the only thing.
And
Yeah.
you know how the Rockies are. Even the last time they made the playoffs,
Yeah.
they play like they got nothing to lose
Mhm.
because they're always like the lower seed.
Yeah.
And they beat the Cubs. Like, everyone said, "Oh, Cubs after they won the World Series, the Cubs are real good, and they're gonna." Rockies came in. Tony Walters had an RBI single, won 1-0 wild card game.
Mhm.
You know, they
Yeah.
made a series. The next series, they played well. That's the kind of team they are. With the Braves are always, the Braves right now, they're like, every year
Yeah.
we have to win.
Yeah.
So it gets pressure on them. When you're the Rockies, you're like, wow, we're just playing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be a good series though as well,
Mhm.
because you have 2 really good lineups and young pitching.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it is. And the bullpen really ain't great on either side. Braves are probably a little bit more depth, but it
yeah.
really ain't great on either side.
No, you'd have to give the Braves a little bit of an edge there, though. You would think.
Starting pitching's probably dead even.
Yeah. Yeah.
If not the Rockies, because at least the Rockies have a consistent rotation. Braves have kind of been ever changing because of some injuries and calling up young guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Lineup wise, I mean, Braves are really good. Then you look at the Rockies. Arenado and Trevor Story and Daniel Murphy, David Dahl, Garrett Hampson's playing really good. Ramil Tapia, I think he has a 19-game on base streak.
Does he?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Kemp
Yeah.
playing well.
Why not?
I mean, they got a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan Rodgers got called up.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan McMahon. I mean, the whole team was good.
Yeah, they got really everywhere you turn, they got hitters. You
Yeah.
know, so it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then the last series, Cubs Phillies. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, the Phillies are red hot right now, so it's like,
In the Cubs, Chris Bryant has like 6 hits all year. Baez has about 5.
yeah,
Rizzo got really cold. Some of the pitching, Kyle Hendricks had a shutout opening day, and Haley hasn't pitched great since. Lester's been getting beat up. Their bullpen's not great, but they have talent
yeah,
on the team. So you think, all right, and they started off so well. And the Phillies, they were bad for a while there, and now they're the hottest team in baseball.
yeah. I mean,
But they got no pitching. Starting
No.
pitching, they're okay.
Yeah.
Nola, Arrieta, you know what you're going to get. But you have Nola, Zach Wheeler, Zach Eflon. He's pretty good. The bullpen's anyone's guess. Hector Neris and the fellas.
I think they got Brandon Workman now, right? I mean,
Yeah. So, I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah.
It's a crazy series. And they go back a long ways, those 2 teams.
They sure do.
You would probably get a game like they had that one years ago. It was like 28-27 or whatever.
Yeah, when the wind was blowing out,
Yeah.
every pop-up went out.
So, that would be an exciting series. Think it'd be a lot of offense.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, neither team. I mean, Darvish. That's about. I don't know. Yeah, I think there'd be a lot of offense.
Oh, yeah, Darvish is their best guy, but look at his postseason.
That's why.
Resume.
As soon as I said his name, I thought I was like, well, in the playoffs,
And then you got John Lester, who's not pitching great this year, but look at his postseason resume.
Yeah.
Look at Kyle Hendricks' postseason resume.
Yeah.
Then you have Craig Kimbrell, whose postseason resume is just kind of okay, average.
Yeah.
Then you got hitters wise, you got Rizzo, guys who've been there, but a lot of them guys are cold. So that would be a good series, but it's a toss up.
Yeah, I think that's a coin flip. In my head, I don't
It
know.
really is going to come down to that last week and what team's really playing well.
I agree.
But Harper's having a good year. Hoskins playing well. Alec Bones been playing well since he called up. Dee seems to, find himself in a big spot at the right time. So it would be an exciting series. I don't know who would really take it. I would probably root for Phillies over the Cubs. I think I would pick the Phillies. I'd like to see the Phillies win.
Yeah, I hear you. Real
Muto, can forget about him.
Yeah.
He'll probably win the series himself.
Probably.
So
Him and Harper.
I'd probably root for them. Not much into the Cubs. I did like the Cubs a little bit years ago, and I did root for them to break their streak.
Yeah.
But now that's over, and I'd rather see the Phillies.
Yeah, I'd probably, out of all the series here, I'd probably root for the Dodgers to get deeper into the playoffs.
Ugh.
I'd probably root for Padres Cardinals. I would just root for a good series because I like both teams. Braves Rockies. I'd probably root for the Rockies because I like the little underdog there, and I always kind of like. I know you like the Rockies, so I always kind of root for them too. But I do like the Braves, so there's nothing against them.
Yeah, there's 2 series there where I wouldn't mind who won. I always kind of like the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But Padres, the young team, be exciting. And the Rockies and Braves. The Braves are some players there I like. Markakis, I really think deserves a chance to get some playoff at bats and get a World Series. I like Ender and Ciarte, some of the smaller guys there.
Yeah.
Max Fried, I really like him. But the Rockies, I always like the Rockies too. So I kind of hope they don't play each other. Both those series, I kind of hope they don't play each other until late in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, I can't root for Dodgers, so would I root for anybody but them?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's an interesting playoff picture for really all 16 teams we got going on. And then, it's not even counting the Giants and the Marlins, just as we were talking, they flipped based on what the Marlins did today. So you never know.
And you have the Mets still in the hunt.
Yeah.
Like the Brewers are kind of hanging around. The Reds, we talk all about the Reds. All off-season, preseason, whatever you want to say. Mid-season, no season, whatever.
Yeah.
They had not been good.
I don't get it.
But they have a good team. So maybe they get hot for 1 week. And maybe they sneak into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And what would happen? They make the 8th seed. They play the Dodgers. They knock the Dodgers out.
Oh, my God.
I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. Because they got a team. They got a team there. They just can't find it. They pitch really good. They hit like crap that game. They hit 30 runs. They give up 32.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem they can push it together. They have a team. It only takes a week.
I know. It
doesn't even take. It takes half a week.
Mm-hmm.
They're only maybe 2 out.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think they're under 500, 2 under 500. They're right there.
Well, they're behind the Brewers, I think. So they can't be far behind the Brewers.
No.
So let's see. They're a game behind the Brewers, and they are what?
2 out of the playoffs.
They're 2 out of the playoffs.
I
So
mean,
they're right there. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, and look who they have to. They get to play. They get to play the Brewers.
It looks like they have a better run differential than the Brewers. They play better away than the Brewers. It looks like they play better at home than the Brewers. So I mean,
And they got to play the Brewers.
yeah,
There's
but
other teams
they can
that have to
control. They can control their own
Don't get me
destiny.
wrong. There's other teams that have to jump,
Mm.
but you get to play one of those teams. And you're only 2 out.
Mm.
Literally, they lose a game, you win a game, you're in. You know what I mean? You're right there.
Yeah.
And they have a good team.
Yeah.
Bauer, Sonny Gray, they're good. They just got to get hot for a week.
Yeah.
Not even really a week, but if you give them a week, at the end of the season, they get hot. They're in the playoffs. They'll make noise.
Yeah, I mean, if they control their own destiny, they got games against people that they can leapfrog. They could be right there.
And that's a team that will beat the Dodgers.
Yeah, if they get hot at the end.
Before the season.
Yeah.
I had them going to the NLCS Reds with a normal season.
Yeah.
So that would be. I really like the Reds team, and I can't stand the Dodgers. So I root for anybody but the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on them. As of today, I mean, it's hard for me to say the Dodgers won't make the World Series because they're always so good, but they're just so bad in the playoffs. I would say my gut would tell me the A's or the White Sox. I'd probably say the A's probably go to the World Series as of right now today. And I don't know. I guess I'd say the Dodgers. The Dodgers got the most talent, but I don't know. And then you never know. The Padres, with how red hot that they get, they could go right to the World Series. So the NL, I think, for me, is a little bit harder for me to pick who's going.
I said last year that a series I would love to see, World Series, would be A's Cardinals. Because that's just some old school. What's new school baseball? Just that'd be exciting. The A's and Rockies would be a mess. A's Dodgers would be just funny. Dodgers give all this money. The A's pay like $7. But I really, out of all the years, I wish this would be the year that the Oakland didn't go because they wouldn't get to play that World Series in Oakland.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone to get to see how bad the stadium is and how no one wants to help them. So I really wish there's a World Series right there. The game gets delayed because of sewer leak or something. So everyone could see it on the biggest stage that no one will help them get stadium money because that's an embarrassment.
I know.
It's an embarrassment. They're top 5 biggest markets in sports. I think they're actually 4th in all
Oakland?
sports. Yep.
Wow.
They lose a football team. They really lost a basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on the verge kind of losing a baseball team because you won't give them a stadium. No one will help. None of the leagues will help.
Yeah.
So I would really like that. It wouldn't be the year I would want them to be there because they would get to miss it.
Yeah.
But I do. That's just the one thing I would like to see them there. But at all the years,
Yeah, I hear you.
I would love to see it there in the World Series, in the biggest stage, and they have to see that terrible stadium.
And that place, when they have fans in there,
Oh.
is rocking.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if it was a World Series, they would open the top, the football seating, and it would be. Oh
you wouldn't even be able to hear
no!
anything.
It would fall down. Arguably, would fall down. 3 toilets get flushed at the same time. There's gushing guys are on the mound.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
I want it.
Yeah, yeah. I could see. I would really like to see the A's, Cardinals. What I really could see is maybe the A's, Dodgers, A's, Braves. Kind of something like that. Or a surprise team could be a team like someone towards the bottom if the Reds made it, or the Padres. Someone who's exciting like that. AL wise, Rays. But then you always have that White Sox, that White Sox and Padres. What a series that would be! They're both the same team. They're both the same team.
Yeah.
They're both very similar. Or the Yankees come back. Yankees, Dodgers, Astros, Dodgers again.
I've been wanting a Yankee-Dodger World Series for years now because both teams have been good.
Yankee, Cardinals.
Oh my!
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Yankees, Cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some teams there. There's a lot of stuff that has to play out here in 3 weeks. As Yogi would say, it's getting late early.
Yeah.
It is. Because you're like, oh, all right, we only played 30 games, and it's like, oh, but you're done.
Yeah.
Deadline's passed. Waiver deadline's coming up. If there even is a waiver, no.
I don't think there is.
Yeah. So I mean, the season's almost over, and you just started.
Yeah, you got less than a month. I mean, let's go.
April stats don't count. They always said. Well, your April stats are half your year this year.
Yeah.
Technically, I mean, you're not playing in April, but the sentiment. You play 1 month is half your season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna get crazy here down the stretch, as we've been saying all year. The whole year is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'd move on to my who's doing the best right now segment, but we kind of already said it. Dodgers on the best record. Rays have the second best record, best in the AL, and the Dodgers own the best run differential, and the Rangers own the worst. There's not real much change there.
No.
So that's all I got for the who's doing the best. So I think you got a little bit of news to sprinkle in there, a little injury, whatever, before we move on to our.
Yeah, I didn't go too much into injuries this week, because Altuve got hurt, and Yankees everybody's hurt. So I didn't really want to go into a bunch of the injuries this week. I figured the playoffs we'd rather talk about that a little bit more than who's not playing. But I do want to mention a couple hot teams. The Angels have been hot.
Yeah.
But that's too late.
Poor Trout.
Yeah, they have. It's crazy because they have some. I don't remember the exact stat, but I believe they have a couple other pitchers have on the low side of the ERAs, like in the ERA leaders, and they have some of the hitting leaders, and they're like 12 games under 500.
Yeah.
So they have some of the best hitters and some of the best pitchers, but you can't win a game.
Yeah, they're awful.
It's another case of when they hit, they don't pitch. When they pitch, they don't hit.
Yeah.
So, but they've been playing well. Seattle's been playing well. Mariners. So the Phillies, I mean, they were won 10 out of 11.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 out of 12 now, or I think they won today, so I think it's 11 out of 13. They had 5 in a row for a while there. Rockies are playing better. They were ice cold. They're playing better. They're sitting right around 500. The Rays continue to play well. A couple teams that are cold. You got the good old Yankees, who
ice cold.
Yeah, they are an embarrassment. No excitement. No reason to be out there.
I don't even. There's some games I'm like, I just can't.
If they forfeited, they had a better chance of winning.
Yeah, if they were just like, that's it right now.
We're not playing.
Yeah.
Like, they almost won that one.
Yeah.
So, the Rangers, bad all year. The Royals aren't playing well. The Nationals have been bad. Just bad. Yeah. And the Diamondbacks are terrible.
Yeah.
They were hot for like a week and a half there. They started bad, had like a week and a half, then terrible again. So there's some teams there, some hot and cold teams there. And you got a few players we can start talking about too.
Yeah, let's move on to who's hot and who's not. I'll go through my 5. I know you got a few too. We kind of, we looked at the hot and cold players before, and I got 5. I think you have a little more than me, but I mean I think we covered most of them.
I think I got 5 here. I think I'll mention.
All right, so yeah, we got a good amount.
Yeah.
So the players of the week, as of recording this, I haven't seen yet. So forgive me. Or forgive us, I should say, if there's one of them left out. I can't imagine we missed any, though. Unless it's a pitcher. But our number one who's hot player, as far as hitters, is Marcell Ozuna. Batted .464 over the last week with 5 homers, 13 RBIs, crushing it. I mean, that's him. Is just like, hey, let me get hot real quick and let me be the best player in the league. So that doesn't surprise me. Number 2 is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He batted .467 over the last week with a .515 on base, 1282 OPS. Kind of the only Blue Jay hitter right now that's actually doing anything, because the other guys have been real, ice cold, as we'll talk about in a little bit. Number 3 I got on the hot list is Michael Conforto, batting .444 with a .483 on base and a 1298 OPS. Some of the Mets hitters have really been good this year. Cano's been good, Conforto, Jeff McNeil, Dominic Smith. I mean, they really, that's another team that kind of...
Wilson Ramos.
If they,
He's been hitting the ball pretty well.
Well, you should expect hitting out of Wilson Ramos, but some of his defensive plays have just been.
He's cost the Mets 2 wins by not being able to really bend down to tag somebody at the plate. And that's really what it came down to. The Yankees game, and I believe it was the Marlins game.
Yeah.
So.
And the Marlins one was, I think, more egregious. He really just missed.
He just didn't bend down.
So. But yeah, so the Mets have been hitting good. Number 4, Victor Reyes, batting .462 over the last week. .480.
Tigers.
Yes.
For the Tigers. I want to throw that out there because I don't think anyone really knows where he's playing.
That's I should have mentioned that because it's not like everyone just knows Victor Reyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Reyes, him. Batting .462 over the last week. .482 on base. 1251 OPS. So good for him. Actually, there have been some hot Tiger hitters that we've listed on here. I think Jacoby Jones. We had 1 week we listed on here.
Miguel Cabrera.
Miggy. Yeah, Miggy. Did I have him last week? 2 weeks ago. He was hitting good recently.
Still batting well.
Yeah, good for him. Good for some of these Tigers hitters.
Yeah.
Number 5, I wanted to just bring him up because I just couldn't believe it when I read it. But Rowdy Tellez batting .500 over the last week with a .552 on base, 1343 OPS. Just a mammoth man. Just doing his thing.
Yeah.
So those are my 5 guys. So you'll probably pick up anyone that I missed. And
Yeah.
the listeners are yelling at me right now.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. The few I got here, Ian Happ playing well. Hitting well. He has given like 10, 12 home runs this year. Been one of the Cubs' more consistent hitters. Trey Turner has been about the only Nationals hitter other than Howie Kendrick's always gonna do his thing.
Yeah.
But Trey Turner's been playing well. Alex Verdugo for the Red Sox. They're one of their only bright stars they have. Tim Anderson. I mean, he's really hitting the cover off the ball with the White Sox. And Jorge Polanco for Twins.
Yeah.
So those are the 5 guys that I wanted to bring up offensively that are really playing well right now.
Yeah.
Which really makes sense for some of these guys. White Sox playing well, Tim Anderson's playing well. Twins are playing well, Polanco's playing well. The Cubs have been doing okay. Ian Happ playing well. So it makes sense. I mean, the Nationals aren't playing well with Trey Turner and Red Sox with Verdugo, but when you got a hot player, usually your team at least is in the 500 range that week.
And I don't want to pat myself on the back here or anything, but I did say Alex Verdugo I thought was going to be a pretty good piece for those. I mean, he's no Mookie Betts, don't get me wrong, but everyone was all aw shucks when he came over. I'm like, that's not he's going to produce as long as he stays in the field. He's going to produce, and I think this year he has shown that he's a pretty good fit over there.
He fits the stadium well. He can hit the ball. He can pepper that ball off the monster.
Oh yeah,
which is what you want at a lefty hitter. You want to be able to pepper that ball off the monster. That's Ted Williams and Yastrzemski, and that's why Big Papi has such a better career.
Yeah,
it's because he could just hit the ball 12 feet and hit it off the monster.
Yeah, and get a double.
Or hit it 112 feet down the right field line and hit a home run.
Yeah. So, I mean, and plus he fits in with that outfield with, Jackie Bradley Jr. is not exactly the most elite hitter, I'd say. Benintendi, I'd say at this point, to this point, plays. I don't know.
I have not seen him once.
Yeah, I'd say to this point, he hasn't worked out. I don't know where he's at right now. I don't know what he's doing. I haven't paid attention to the Red Sox in a while because they're just
the Yankees. I didn't even see him playing.
Yeah, so if you really want to get down to it, losing Mookie Betts, Verdugo is kind of your outfielder right now, I would think, right? Unless they throw JD Martinez out there, which in the outfield.
That's not going to be good. No,
we don't want that. So let's move on to the cold players, the who's not for the week. Number 1, I think, is obvious. Whit Merrifield, batting .033 with a .033 on base and a .067 OPS. Just not great. Whit Merrifield. He's a good hitter, too.
Really good hitter.
There's weeks where, like, some of these guys have averages, like, a little under the Mendoza line, like in the 150s or whatever. It's like, okay, they had a rough week, but .033 is like, I had 1 hit, probably, 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah.
I mean, that
really makes sense why the Royals have been playing bad.
Yeah.
For the last 10 games because he's 1 for 30.
Yeah, when you have really one of your only guys out there.
Yeah, and I believe Horace Soler won the IL, too, so one of your good hitters is gone. He hasn't got a hit all day or all week.
And I believe Salvador Perez, right, was on the IL.
Yeah, so you had all that together. Yuck.
Yeah. So. Poor Whit Merrifield over there is trying his best.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Javier Baez. 143 average over the last week, 172 on base, 458 OPS. I think we listed him last week or 2 weeks ago or something. So he really
we listed him 2 or 3 times this year.
Yeah,
and Bryant.
Yeah, so he really, I guess, hot and cold. I mean, maybe in the weeks we haven't listed him, he's just been having good weeks, and then he's just once in a while we'll list him because he's having a bad. I don't know. I haven't paid attention that much to Javier Baez, so yeah, Gotta pick it up a little bit here. You start listening on the cold list too much. Number 3, unfortunately, Luis Robert, batting 154 over the last week with a 313 on base and 736 OPS. So even when he has a bad week, he still has a respectable on base and OPS. It's
and
still
defensively, that's never going to go away. So.
No. So 154, that's not too bad. Next guy, number 4, Andrew McCutchen. Also 154 average, 214 on base, 522 OPS. Not ideal, but I believe he was on the hot. I had him on the hot list last week. I believe
so, yeah.
he kind of carried the Phillies a little bit when they were really on that hot streak.
Mm-hmm.
So he was due for it. And the next guy on the list here was due for it too. Last guy I got, number 5, is Luke Voigt. Batting 161 over the last week, 278 on base, 568 OPS. I mean, Luke Voigt's been one of the best first basemen in baseball this year, and really the only, other than LeMahieu, really the only Yankee out there lately. So he can only carry the team so much at this point. So that was it was kind of expected. I mean, he had been hitting good all year. So those are my 5 guys, all hitting like crap.
Yeah. So I had a few position players I want to throw out there, and then I just want to go into some hot and cold pitchers that I can throw in there. But position players, cold wise, Screwball Cabrera is not hitting good. I think he's batting under 100 for over the last week. Eloy Jimenez for the White Sox has not been hitting great. I think he's hitting like 150 or so.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how the White Sox are. They're going to be hot. They're going to be cold. They're going to, their guys aren't going to be like, he had an okay week, it's 200. It's like they batted 120 or they batted 420.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that goes. A few guys, Abreu and Anderson, they're kind of going to hit, but there's a few other guys like Robert or Eloy Jimenez who are going to have their struggles.
Yeah, they're a little on the younger side, so it makes sense.
Next guy, another young guy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's not batting well. He's batting like 190 over the last
like
10 days or so. Didi for the Phillies. He's under 200 over the last week. Still playing. Coming up with a couple big hits, though. The few hits he has had have been bigger hits. He's still playing good defense for them. And a guy, I believe he was player of the... Was he player... I think he was player of the week a couple weeks ago. Joey Wendell. Was he player of the week?
It was Brandon Lau that was player of the week, so the other Ray.
yeah, they're both the same.
Yeah.
But Joey Wendell is like under 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, I think he's like 2 for 20-something. He's not playing well.
Not great.
But the rest of the Rays are doing just fine, so...
I'll say.
He'll be okay.
Yeah.
Some pitchers I want to mention who are, pitching well. Marco Gonzalez is pitching really well.
Okay.
Tyler Glasnow, like I mentioned earlier, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yu Darvish, what a comeback for him.
Yeah.
Pitching great. Adam Wainwright, gotta love it. He went to the 7th inning yesterday, I believe, for the doubleheader. Almost had another complete game because of the doubleheader. So he's been pitching really well.
Yeah.
And here you go. We haven't mentioned him all year, and I think we should have. Daniel Bard.
Oh, yeah.
What a comeback.
Yeah.
He didn't pitch for like 8 years or something.
Something like that, yeah.
I think he has like a low to mid 3 ERA as their closer, which isn't, you go, oh, yeah, he's not doing the greatest. He's doing pretty good. Mm-hmm. But recently, I think he had 3 saves last week with no runs given up for the Rockies.
That's great.
Got his velocity back. Just great to see him back because he was a bigger name guy with the Red Sox and he was a starter, and that didn't work. He went to the bullpen, pitched well. Then he went back to starting, and then he had the yips, and it was a mess. But good for him, come back. Yeah. Good for the Rockies, give him a chance.
Mm-hmm. Sure. They needed it.
Yeah, and when you're a team that doesn't have pitching, take a chance.
Yeah, just take a chance.
They did. Some cold pitchers I want to mention. Patrick Corbin, not been good. He started off the year very good, not been good.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a pitcher here. He's not really doing awful, but for his standards, not good. And it's Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
I think his ERA is like 4 over the last week or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Over his last 2 starts, I think he's like a little like 4.02 or something, which is not bad. But for him,
yeah, that's not what you want.
A lot of home runs. Just not winning. I think he lost 3 straight now.
Yeah.
Another pitcher not pitching good at all. John Lester.
Mm-hmm.
He got like a 10 ERA over his last couple starts. Trevor May for the Twins, not pitching good out of the bullpen. I think he's in the 5 or 6 ERA for the year, I believe. And Trevor Williams for the Pirates. Man, I don't want to get into the Pirates too much. We always do, but
yeah,
they're
not
too good. But one, bright spot for them. Brian Hayes came up and hit a home run. He's been playing all right.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them that way. But Trevor Williams hasn't been pitching good for the Pirates, and the Pirates haven't been playing good all year. And that's pretty much all I got for the hot and cold players.
Okay.
I don't know if you got anything else you want to throw in there.
No, I don't think I got anything other than that the Yankees look like shit, and I'm tired of it. But that's about it. That's all I wanted to throw in there.
Yeah, they haven't looked good at all.
Yeah, they're just embarrassing.
But Today we are recording on Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
Just like to wish everybody happy Labor Day.
Yep.
Hope you had a good Labor Day weekend. You know, all those fun things.
Didn't get too drunk.
Yeah, September baseball's here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go 3 weeks into the, before the playoffs. So that's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And last thing I want to follow up with here, or finish up with, I should say, is our trivia question. And I was going to look for one regarding Lou Brock or Tom Seaver. Just couldn't quite find the right one. So I went with a different one. And this is, who has the lowest batting average out of any Major League Hall of Famer, position player-wise, not counting pitchers. So position player with the lowest batting average in the Hall of Fame. MLB Hall of Fame. And asked Mike this earlier. He had no clue, as I wouldn't expect him to. If he did, I walked home. It would have been so crazy.
My first question was, do I know this person? And you went, no.
Yeah, no. And I don't think anyone really probably does know him. But he was a catcher. His name is Ray Schalk. Or Schalk, exactly how you pronounce it, but Ray Schalk. He was a catcher for the White Sox. He batted .253. He was the lowest. And there really is no reason for him to be in a Hall of Fame. I really don't want to, say the guy didn't have a good career or not, but he really is not a Hall of Famer. 11 home runs, 199 doubles, 49 triples. Okay, that's a pretty good number. He had 177 stolen bases. All right, that's a pretty good number. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. I think he had 330 on base. He had a 316 slugging.
Yeah.
So his slugging is 24 points under his on. That's almost impossible, especially in a career.
Yeah.
A week, half season, you kind of see stuff like that. For a career,
yeah,
for your slugging to be that low, under your on base. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That's ridiculous. That's like seeing your average over your on base.
Mm.
It can happen in a shorter period of time. For a career, it's like, how was that ever? How?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
It's just a singles hitter.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
He did win a World Series with the White Sox in 1917. He also was on the 1919 White Sox team.
Yeah.
Which was the Black Sox scandal. He did bat 300 with all singles.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still part of that team. It's just weird. He only had 1,360 career hits.
Yeah.
He just really didn't not a Hall of Famer. Really not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, like, Shoeless Joe Jackson is not in the Hall of Fame, but this guy is.
Yeah. Pete Rose.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't in this Hall of Fame. A guy like Craig Biggio had to wait 2 years. He had 3,000 hits.
Yeah.
You got this guy in there. And there's only 3 guys to go along. There's 3 guys with under 260 average in the Hall of Fame. 260. Yeah, 3 guys in the Hall of Fame under 260 average. He's one of them. Harmon Killebrew.
Oh yeah, I
can argue there. And the other guy, I can't even think of his name. Rabbit.
Yeah.
Something.
Rabbit Tap Shoes Johnson
yeah, it was
or something.
Crazy last name. I can't really think of it right now. I know his first name was Rabbit, or they call him Rabbit, so that's just crazy.
Yeah.
I believe he was like a shortstop or second baseman way back.
Of course.
But yeah, there's guys in there. It just doesn't make sense. And then there's other guys who you're like, oh, well, he doesn't really look like a Hall of Fame, but this guy did. This guy with his lower slugging, There's people in the Hall of Fame with a higher batting average than his slugging. That's where we're at. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You know what's weird too is you say, oh well, it was a little back in the day. Maybe you can say, oh, the stats weren't as good back then. It's like no, but the guys back then had ridiculous averages.
Averages, yeah.
So it's like that is even worse now than it is now.
You say he's a catcher, but he doesn't have any stats.
Yeah, like.
But then you put Joe Torre. You say, oh, he's not a Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame manager, not a Hall of Fame player. He's an MVP as a catcher.
Yeah.
But this guy's in.
Yeah.
It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
I hate it.
And then you got guys waiting out, Tim Raines almost didn't get in. Edgar Martinez almost did. Edgar Martinez 300, 400, 500. This guy 250's in. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe they owed him a favor.
They owed him something. I don't know. And he was elected in 1955. But people seen baseball for a while now. So someone brought him up in the veterans community. He's like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Why? How?
I don't know.
Well, how could you ever look at that guy and go, that's him?
I don't know.
There's so many other players. I can't even compare him to anybody.
No, you can't.
I only think of a catcher. That's just not.
And it's not like he's Harmon Killebrew where he had he had a lower average, but he had 500 home runs. It's like, okay.
There's no stat that you go, that's why he's in.
Yeah.
We won a World Series. He was also part of the Black Sox scandal.
Yeah,
where's that go?
There's something going on here that we're not aware of?
I can't even think of a catcher off the top of my head that resembles a 250 average in his career. It's like putting Jose Molina in. I don't know where his average is, but that's what it feels like. It's like, well, you won a World Series, remember? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
He's in.
Yeah.
Why? Well, why?
Well, he's got a better average than Gary Sanchez.
Wow. Yes, that's saying much. But yeah, it don't make sense. It just doesn't. There's so many guys that aren't in. Fred McGriff's not in. Fred McGriff's not in the Hall of Fame. But this guy's in. It doesn't make sense. And why? Why?
Who's responsible for this?
Yeah, who's making this? How could you look at Harold Baines is in? You know, Harold Baines, he had a good career, but, Fred McGriff's not in.
Yeah.
What the hell's that? You got Ray Schalk. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
250. Terrible. Awful. It's awful. That's awful. That's actually terrible.
Just getting more mad as we talk about
That's
it.
where we're at. That's where we're at. It doesn't make sense. That's how baseball is. You can't be too good. You gotta be mediocre. Like this Schalk guy. Doesn't make sense.
I never heard of him. I don't want to hear about him.
You shouldn't have to hear about him. He should just be lost in time. But there he is. He's got a plaque in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Next time we go back, we gotta look for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna complain.
Yeah.
But this guy's no good.
Can you take this down? He's not
what
in.
does this plaque say?
He was all right.
It has some sort of thing on it, It's like, Babe Ruth is like, the greatest trading card or something. Which is always a little weird the way they put it, but his is on there, And his is like, he had 300 wins, or he was a dominant pitcher. What does his say?
He was out there.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baseball just says on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to downgrade the guy's career. Because he played in Major Leagues for 18 seasons. He won a World Series. I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's not a memorable player.
Yeah.
Even if you were alive back then and watched them, you wouldn't be like the Black Sox, White Sox, that. You got Shoeless Joe and Ray Schalk. Like, that wouldn't be the guy you come up with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. So, other than, I don't want to keep going. Because it could be another 3 hours. I can just keep yelling.
Just keep getting mad.
But that's the answer. So, lowest batting average in the Hall of Fame, Ray Schalk, 253.
I wonder who's going to get that right. Who got that right? Who are you out there that's like, yeah, this guy, I know him. I know Ray.
If someone said Harmon Killebrew, you'd be like, okay, because you kind of remember, Killebrew had all the home runs, but he was low average.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. But then you got this guy and Rabbit.
Yeah,
whatever, the other guy,
Rabbit Boy.
I can't think of his name, so I apologize for that. But you got Ray Schalk out there. So,
God.
that's all. I'm done. So.
Yeah, I'm done too.
Up.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up because my brain hurts.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You can listen to this podcast next week and all the weeks after that. You can catch us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can catch us on our regularly updated YouTube channel as well as our website, screwball.podbean.com. You can follow me on Twitter at RealMikeLepre. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod. No E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep, take care.